Okay, let's continue to go through the HTML code for our HTML elements. And let's look at the text area. Okay, text area is essentially a multi-line text box where we can type in like that. Okay, depending on the browser, if you notice this area here, it's got a little shaded diagonals there in the bottom right corner, so we can drag that around if we want. This is purely something temporary that we can do just if we have lots of code. Let's just say we've typed in some text in there, okay, and we can't see it all because the default number of columns is too small. We can do that if we want, okay, but that doesn't affect what way our code is going to be processed. So how do we create a text area? Just use a text area tag, so not input, ID and name. I'll show you how to set this default size later on. If we put some text in here, okay, like that, notice it's a double-ended tag, okay, so ABC. If I come back here and refresh the page, you can see that ABC is actually the default text that appears in there. Okay, quite often you won't want any default text like that because the user is just going to have to select it and delete it. Okay, what is next? Another field set legend. Input type equals checkbox. Okay, zebra, cat, other. Checkboxes use sparingly, if at all. Never use text boxes. Sorry, never use checkboxes. Okay, for yes or no. Okay, that would be complete no-no. Okay, supposing the yes text box, or sorry, supposing the yes checks. Okay, third time. Supposing the yes checkbox is ticked. Supposing the no checkbox is ticked. Both are ticked. So is that a yes or a no? Supposing neither are ticked. Is that a yes or no? Hard to make sense of. And essentially, checkboxes and radio buttons, they should have a value. Okay? Any form element where the user is not typing text in needs to have a value built in. We saw that already with the option tags in the selection list. Okay, female and male, we have to have a value in there. Similarly with checkboxes, similarly with radio buttons. So I'm showing you checkboxes there, but I wouldn't expect them to be in use. And yes, pick your favorite animal is completely juvenile and not appropriate to such high-minded scholars as you guys are. But it's only an example. Okay, it's a means to an end. What else we got? Pick your favorite dog name. Okay. Dogs are better than cats, so we're all right. This is okay. Okay. Type equals radio. Okay. Now, very, very important here. Make sure your set of make sure your set of radio buttons have exactly the same name, because that's what ties them together. We know that in radio buttons, only one of these can be picked. Yeah, we can't pick the three of them. We can force a required. That means we have to pick one of them. But if the name is different for all of the radio buttons in the set, that means they're going to work like more than one set of radio buttons. So we don't want that. Okay, so type equals radio, yes. Same value for the name, yes. But the ID must be unique for each of them. Okay, so because they've got the same name, Rex, Fido, Spot, I can only pick one of them. Supposing I had a spelling mistake there. Okay, so Spot now has DG name. Let's come up and refresh here. What we find is we can pick Spot and we can pick one of the others. Okay, so Rex and Fido both have name equals dog name. Okay, Spot has name equals DG name. So Spot is essentially a different set of radio buttons. Okay, so just be careful about that. Really important. Okay, and let's restore Spot into the family of favorite dog names. Like so. What's your favorite plant? Okay. I should have had what's your favorite humming noise from Father Ted. Sorry, I don't have that. Hopefully you'll forgive me. What's your favorite plant? Okay. What this is a mixture of a text box and a selection list. So what have I got here? I've got a select list, selection list inside data list. Okay, so this is data list tag, and essentially what this is doing is it is it is creating a text box just after it. Okay, so what does that mean? We can either pick something that's there, so okay, that's in there like that. Okay, or so it's kind of like a selection list that you can type into. Okay, if I type the letter A, it's bringing me up everything in the selection list that has a letter A in it. Okay, and Z, there's nothing with a Z. What about O? A couple there, T, and so on. U, only a couple. S, H, only oak push in there. Okay, so it's kind of a mixture between data selection list and a text box data list. Not used that often, really. What else have we got? Progress. What are we doing here? We can set the essentially it's a progress bar, progress to date, like that. And let's look at the code here. We are giving a value of 150. Okay, so the user's not typing anything in here. The user, in fact, the user's not doing anything here at all. Max equals 200, and then there is some text appears when we put the mouse over it. Okay, if we don't have a value or a max in it, progress will just go back and forth like that. Okay, would be useful if you're fundraising, for example, and you had every time people get money, that would update the database, and then we could use server-side programming language such as JavaScript Node or PHP to get that number and to set the value so that it would appear like that. Okay, not used that often. Here is a meter, and it's kind of like progress, except that if the value is outside the high, above the high or below the low, we can get it to appear in purple. Okay, these are unlikely you're going to use these this year. Could use them later on. Okay, so have a look at them, try and understand the code, but I'd be surprised if you can use them for your later assessment. But you never know, surprise me. Okay, so that's all the HTML. Okay, so when you get to the when you have the code, the HTML code typed in from the screenshot of the code, that's what your form should look like. Okay, and that's probably a good place to stop.